Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're tuning in. We have a very, very special guest today on the Just Acting Up show. Round of applause for Ashley, Lauren, Elrod, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you,
thank
thank
you.
you. Love the hat, by the way. I didn't tell you that, and the earrings.
Thank you. This is a Colorado find and Express. Shout out to Express.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let me see. Before we get started, I gotta list off all these titles because it's just you put in all the hard work to achieve these. So you originally from New York,
No, Chicago.
Chicago, Chi-Town? Okay,
Our time.
Yeah,
The water different in
yeah.
Chicago. I promise. We come across. We talk to a lot of actors from Chicago, and it's just like, what's in the water?
Yeah. Chicago's good city, good city, especially to start and to have a bit more of a stable acting career. Yeah, it's a good city.
gotcha. All right, so let's see.
Yeah.
So you are a CEO,
Yes.
producer,
Mhm.
advocate, actress, model, healer. I like that you had that on there. Healer,
Yeah.
Dove partner. That's a good soap, y'all. Um,
Yeah.
and we're gonna talk a little bit about Visionary Woman Productions as well.
Awesome. Yes.
All those titles, and we love it. So, with so many titles to your name, can you share with us what got you started in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I have been a creative since I was a kid. I mean, there's videos of me, at like 1 years old trying to steal a mic from someone, like at my brother's. It was like his little assembly. How we had assemblies back in the day, and like me, like trying to take the mic, like literally in the middle of like, like literally in the middle of the assembly. And like I'll never forget that. It was hilarious. But ever since then I feel like it was just like I was just born to do this. I was born to be on stage, be a creative, and do what I do. But also too, I've always been someone really enthralled, I think, with the back end of things and being behind stage and creating costumes and doing makeup, and from once again from a very young age. I realized this actually this past week when I was talking to someone. I'm like, I've always been a producer. Like I've always been a producer as well and a creative developer since I was a child. I was always the one, like, even in group projects, being like, this is what we should do. And I'll get this for everybody. And, and all that good stuff. And in high school, I went crazy. I was always like, I'm going to be the leader of, the food drive and the toy drive and our hallway decoration contest and everything. And people would just be like, Ashley's got it. And so and that was just always me. So it made sense to like do what I do all like now. And even in college, like I double majored in technical theater, which was a whole big intensive degree where you had to run lighting for a show, create costumes from a show from scratch, pass the makeup classes, set design, and it was lighting, set, makeup, wardrobe, and production. Like you had to produce a show. So it was a pretty intense degree, but it was worth it for sure because I wanted to learn everything about the industry, not just like be an actor, I guess. I love being an actor. It's like my passion, but I definitely think it was wise for me to learn the back end when I did because it also helps with my acting. It helps to know like your lighting and how to work with the crew properly and know the terminology. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the beginning of how I became a producer and owner of Visionary Woman Productions.
Nice, nice.
Pretty dope.
Now I see that you also sing as well. I saw that you are a worship leader. And so
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and so as someone like myself who's also involved in my church heavily, like how do you just navigate the entertainment industry, right?
Yeah.
How has God guided you through the entertainment industry? Like, because there's a lot of highs, a lot of lows. You see a lot of different things, good and bad.
Yeah.
But still maintain, just your morals, your values, your faith. Like,
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that's a great question. It definitely has not been easy for
Mhm.
sure. Definitely have been through a lot in the industry, especially because I started so young too. Like when I was still in college, like I was on professional sets, starting off as a stand-in, and like I kind of got exposed. I feel like to how the industry can be on the back end with dealing with certain people, and people think that they can take advantage of you when you're young and things like that, and want to try to test you to see if you like would do something for a role and all that. So that was definitely interesting to navigate for me. Luckily for me, I've always been very no. So
Mm.
and I guess people would think I was crazy, to say no to certain people that I was like no to. But I luckily was, very adamant about no, I'm not going to do anything for a role, and I'm not going to take a role that I'm not comfortable with, and I'm not going to hang out around people just because they're the director or the producer of the show if I don't feel comfortable to do so. So definitely, I've always tried to walk onto sets and into rooms, not being like Jesus, but being like I believe in God, and I have a certain standard for my life, and everyone always, especially now, understands that about me. Like I don't even have to say that I'm a believer for people to feel that, and that's always my goal. Like I want to not even have to proclaim, my beliefs for people to like understand like who I am when I walk into a room. And, now people like, they understand that. They feel it, I think, when I walk onto sets because I try to set the tone right away, even if I'm like a production designer or I'm, working on a different part of the set, or I'm the actor. I like to be able to introduce myself to people, make sure people feel comfortable and seen. And I'm telling you, just doing that has really, I've been on the most chaotic sets, and because I've taken the initiative to do that, the sets were better
Mm.
because I like let God lead me in that way. I mean, for real, like I was on a BET set like a couple years ago, and it was probably the most chaotic set I've ever been on in my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, just because there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Mhm.
But with that being said, that was one of the days, the first day I was like, okay, how are we going to take this? It's like
Mm.
there's a lot of energies and everything is happening, but I just want to kind of make sure I'm going to be mellow on here because we
Mhm.
need like a cool head. And I was one of the few women on set. So I just was like, let me introduce myself to people. So I was introducing myself. I went up directly to all the ADs, let them know who I was. I was doing set deck and props and stuff. And then I went to the camera crew and a couple guys actually I went to college with, and it was back in Chicago that I flew back for the gig. And I happened to know them. I was like, oh my God, yeah, like 13 years ago, so that was already nice. And then other people, but like throughout the chaos that happened, everyone literally became more respectful.
Yeah.
It was weird. They would get hot and heavy in the moment and then come back and apologize and be like, yo, like, you didn't deserve that. I'm so sorry. Like, things got heated, and, you're so awesome. And I just don't want you to feel, any type of way. When I don't think that ever would have happened if I didn't take the initiative the first day to be like, yo, like, let's all help each other. Like, let's make sure we can make this as smooth as possible. So, yeah, just an example of letting God lead and trying to, lead the culture, I think, too, any chance you can when you walk into the room.
You got that anointment, man. You need that with that's
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's what I call it. I said I need the extra, like, God, come on now. We got so
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
for
yeah.
real. Because
I
it's
look
like, it can be rough. It's not
yes.
like all glitz and glam behind the
Mhm.
scenes. It's just, even when you're an actor too, like it's like
Mhm.
not always like you're going on to on set and you're in the trailer, and it's like people think that's what it all is, and it's like no, there's so much stuff that goes on, and
Whew.
like it's, if you're a celebrity, maybe it's like a little easier, but if you're just like us,
With the crew,
and you get
yeah,
the, yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
the-
it's a little different.
yeah, yeah. Go,
But yeah, so
yeah, go ahead, Shay.
Well, I wanted to know a little bit more about the modeling.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I started modeling in high school, which was over 15 years ago. And yeah, you know. Um, and yeah, modeling honestly was something, back in the day, especially around that time, it was like America's Next Top Model was the thing, and
Hmm.
Tyra Banks, and, trying to follow in the footsteps of, her was like kind of a thing for me. And I just ended up doing it. So I ended up being signed with Ford at one time, and then BMG. And I mean, granted some beautiful opportunities, and I don't regret that time of my life, but also it was kind of that was my first kind of push into the industry, and things I had to navigate. Back then you were being weighed by your agent, and I think you still get measured now, but just because of measurements. But back then it was kind of like, oh, you may need to lose 2 pounds, even though I was a 0 2 at the max back then. And it was just very traumatic, obviously, going through that. Even though, like I said, I was offered opportunities, like I was featured in Vogue, and I was on Vibe, and, in Essence and other things. So it was a beautiful time in that sense, but also it was very hard. And I think even now it's like growing older and going through so many different body changes, having more meat on my bones and curves, it's like it took a long time for me to kind of like be comfortable with that, to be honest, like I think it's like when you are not used to having things that you didn't have before, it definitely is a transition and a process to like love your body, and understand how to dress your body when it's different. Because for a long time, honestly, in my 20s, I was still pretty thin. And then going into my 30s, that's when I started really transitioning with my body. And
Hmm.
like, I was like, no, I'm still this. Like, I'm still this size, or I still look, and it was like, no, I'm not. Like, I need to get
Yeah.
a new bra. Like, I'm just TMI, guys. But like, but it was like, that
Yeah.
was the reality. It's like, I'm like, dang, I need to unlearn so much from like modeling, and that person that I was, and or kind of forced to be. So yeah, that's the honest answer about
So I
modeling.
completely understand because I'm in my 30s now, and it's like, whoo, some of the things we see,
Yeah,
and like what our style is, we may have to like tweak it a little bit for like
yeah.
this moment us, right?
Yes, 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 and like be comfortable with that for sure. And I think
Hmm.
that's a cultural thing too, like I grew up in with a mom who was always like, "Oh, you don't want to be too, big," and all that stuff and everything. So it's like there was just a lot there that I think I had to like be like, "Well, fuck that." I'm sorry if I can
It's
cuss
all
on
good.
this show or not, but
You fine.
It's fine.
It's all good.
You
edit that
perfectly
out.
fine.
But yeah, had to,
Yeah.
go through all that process too.
Yeah, and we go through that sometimes, even with men too,
Mhm.
Yes.
where it's like sometimes my friends will be like, "Oh, we see you getting that man weight," or we see you, for real. You be like, "Really?
Yeah.
Did you just say?"
Excuse me.
Oh,
Oh, man, never. No.
you be like, I'm setting the gym time tomorrow because y'all not gonna be playing with me like that."
Yeah, yeah, but it's so interesting. Yeah, for sure. I think in our community too, I think people need to stop like commenting on people's bodies and
Yeah.
hair and everything else, because like, especially now, there's so much going on in the world, like that's more important than, worrying about somebody else's appearance.
Mhm.
So that's just me, especially too, like dealing with some like chronic health issues and stuff like I've had to deal with. It's like
Mhm.
just more appropriate to not, comment on those things. But I
Right.
think it's like something we need to continue to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight both of y'all because y'all model. You to say both you and Ashley. Me and Chris trying to slightly step in that direction, but I just want to I want to applaud y'all for doing it because I know y'all hear a lot of things, both to Ashley, you and to Shay.
Yeah,
So I gotta give you a
for
round
sure.
of applause.
Yes.
with that because it's a
Thank
lot.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
actually gearing up right now for LA Fashion Week in
Oh, I
March.
love it.
And
Yeah.
like I'm in the gym shedding right now,
Yeah.
getting ready.
Hmm.
It's a lot
Yes.
mentally though. It really is, but I love
Yeah.
it. I just love, I've always loved fashion and just clothes. I'm not gonna say always because in high school I was not fashionable. I was like sweatshirt,
Yeah.
sweatpants, no makeup, hair in a ponytail, right? But it was like
Yeah.
that senior year when it clicked for me, like, you might need to care about what you look like at this high school a little bit.
I feel that. I feel that. I went to a Catholic high school. I was forced to go to one, and yeah,
Mm.
we had to wear, the polo and the slacks and stuff. But I was the opposite. I didn't wear makeup though. Like I was like you. I was like always barefaced and stuff. I don't think I started wearing makeup until like maybe junior year when my sister kind of tried to teach me some things, but even that was like bronzer from MAC and like some gloss, and that was like the extent of it. Um, but yeah, I tried to make my polos and stuff look cute, like even custom making the logo on them, and people
Yeah.
would be like, "I want to buy one of those because they're better than ours," and then eventually like there would be some teachers who would be like, "That's not our dress code polo." I'm like, "It has the logo on it, sir." Like, yes, it is. It's the official school logo on this polo. It's a different color, but it's the logo, isn't it?
Like,
There was
come
this
on
one
now.
guy who tried to get me like, yeah, he tried to catch a case so hard, and I was like, "It's senior year. I've been wearing these for 4 years." I'm like, "Please go
Mhm.
somewhere else with
It's the end.
that."
It's the end of my high school. Like, come on now.
Right.
Move around.
Let me be great.
Right.
Move
Yeah,
around.
you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
Mm-mm-mm. Now, just like us with the beard and mustache, sir. You need to say like, look, man,
No.
look, it's here. All right, I'm not finna.
Yeah,
I'm almost out of here. Leave me alone. We need to tell the difference. If you can't
right.
tell the difference, all right.
Right.
Bringing back some high school memories here, Ashley.
Oh God.
It's so
Fun
good.
time.
Oh my gosh.
Fun time.
Right, right. And so now,
Love it. Love it.
I know you act as well, and I remember I
Mhm.
think the first time I came across you on social media is when you said you act as well, and I believe you said you mentioned that you are a client to your father as well. Is that true?
No, so the opposite. My dad's my client.
Okay, the opposite.
Hmm.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, so I got him into acting, 6 years ago.
really, that's the same time I
So,
really started taking on my acting career 6 years ago when I started this journey.
Amazing.
Yeah, not
so do he like sometimes call you and be like, "What's up, boss?"
Not really. I'm still just his daughter, but like I have handled all of his self tapes, and
mm,
we'll get on Zoom and I'll record him and edit his stuff and send him to his agent, who used to be my agent back in Chicago, like way back in the day. They were my first ever agent, but also the agency I interned for when I was in college and worked back of house for. So they ended up signing him, and yeah, I mean, he ended up taking off like billboards for Goose Island and campaigns and commercials for McDonald's. And I mean, he, is SAG after eligible now. So it's just crazy to see how he, how far he's come in all of these years. It's like, it was just, it was a fun thing for him at first. It was kind of just like, he was depressed after retirement. He
mm,
worked in education for over 30 years. And that's another thing I think we need to work on in our community is
right.
being being at rest, and that's
Hmm.
easier said than done because when I go on vacation, it takes a good 4 days for me to be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything related to work.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm really trying to work on because, man, I think we like I said, he got depressed and he was like not inspired or anything after he was done working.
Yeah.
And I just was like, okay, well, maybe you should start acting. Like my agent always was like, your dad could totally act. He has a great face, and like every time he's in the office with you, I think he's one of our talents. And I'm just kind of like, Yeah. Okay. So I took his headshots because I'm also, yeah, obviously I own a production company. I took his photos and
Mhm.
I, submitted them and everything. And yeah, he got 2 agents right away, and he just took off from there. So yeah.
Way to go, Dad and
It's been
Ashley, man.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, he's been a great client. Yeah. So hopefully he has a few more years in him for it. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's
yeah,
That's
something.
dope. That's dope.
That is. Oh,
mhm.
also,
That's a blessing to have a daughter that could, because sometimes it's hard for our parents to, accept. And when I say this, like to accept help from us, like
Yeah. Oh,
sometimes
trust me.
it's
Yeah.
like, I got this. I'm older than you. I got life, right? And to accept
Yes.
help from you and work with you like that's amazing. That's a blessing.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely has been awesome for sure.
also, one more note before I'm sorry, one more note before we continue. For your vacation, this is something I
Yeah.
reminded myself. There was a video that I saw of a dog on vacation with his owner, and the dog was laid
Uh-huh.
up. Yeah, the dog was like laid up on a beach chair, getting fed strawberries and whipped cream, and I got instantly jealous. So whenever you go on vacation, remind yourself about that little small dog getting catered, and tell yourself, Ashley deserves this. Just
Yeah.
chill out, don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
we just recently took a cruise, and it's like a
Mhm.
little bit. It's harder to work on a cruise boat. Like that
Yes.
was
With
the
the
one
connection.
thing that like I was like, okay, the internet's not working that well. I might as well just go down here and have a little drink or something at the bar because you're in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
So it's the connection's not that great. So it's like, what else can I do? Oh yeah, I'm on vacation. I can actually enjoy myself.
Right.
Yeah,
It's hard. It can be
I
hard. Yeah. I feel
can
that.
relate. I can relate. I
Yeah.
asked myself the other day. I was like, I haven't taken a vacation in a few years at this point. I wear so many
Oh my
hats. It's hard to
God.
take those hats off and just really just be still and just.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm gonna turn the phone off and I'm just gonna enjoy myself. So, but this
Yes.
year I'm determined. I'm going on vacation this year. Just like, hey,
You have to.
Yes,
Yes. Go
yeah.
for
yes.
it. You got to do it. Got to do it. It's
hmm
healthy.
hmm
So I have a question. When it comes to on the acting side of things, right? Um, before you get into a performance, do you ever have any performance anxiety or or trouble dealing with like chemistry with your whoever you're doing a scene with? And how do you handle?
Mhm. Um, I feel like sometimes it's interesting for me. I always feel really at home in acting. I think it's because it's always been something that has been almost not, I don't want to say dissociation, but like, growing up in kind of like some traumatic circumstances that I was in, creativity and acting was always like my outlet and something that really made me feel like alive and at home and very comfortable within my skin. I guess if you would ask anyone who's acted with me, they would be like, "You go for it. You just like you're that person," because I don't know. It's just a natural thing. It's not a technique that I learned. I went to school for it, but it's like even my teachers were like, "Yeah, like what you have like is not being taught, and like don't lose that." And it really was because it was always my therapy in a way. I really don't get anxiety with it. I get excited. Like I said, I feel really at home. I really try to honor the characters that I'm playing by really not in a method actor way, but I want to become them. Like I do want, to tell their story. But also like, you'll probably see little glimmers of me in there at once in a while. I think that's always special too to keep that. But I like to really use that time to really dedicate to whoever I'm being honored to play. So I think I really focus on that, and that just keeps me in a zone that's coming from an authentic and honest place. So with acting, I think that's been my thing. And it's, I think for your other question, I've always had great scene partners for the most part. I think
Yeah.
though too, it's been I think since I do go there right away, sometimes people are like, like I'll never forget doing. I was Mrs. Mueller in Dow actually in college, and I was actually nominated for best actor award for the Black Actors Film Collective in Chicago before I graduated because of the performance. And like throughout rehearsals and stuff, we rehearsed for a couple months. You know, it was good. I was always bringing it, but something comes alive in you even more when you're on stage and like when
Mhm.
you're in front of the camera. Like I think it's like all of that work of like you worked, now let it go. I think that's my process. It's just like you do all the technical stuff, you really, you know, become that person, and then on the day just like let it go. Let it go. You like let them breathe. It's kind of like a spiritual experience for me, to be honest. And I remember the first day, I wasn't even expecting this. I I went out there, you know, the scene for her, if you saw the movie for with Viola Davis, that was her first breakout role. You know, the scene lasts like 5 minutes and that's it. That's all you're in the show for. And I went out there and I was with my partner, who's also still my friend to this day, and she was playing the nut. And all of a sudden, I just like started bawling, and like all this stuff came out, and she was like, she, I can tell like she was like she still stayed in the moment, but she was like I remember looking at her face, and she was like like she just was like caught for a second, and like she kept going, but then afterwards it was like I closed the door because like it was like you she leaves, and like the crowd starts clapping like after my scene, like after I walked off, and everyone's like, oh my god, like what was that? Like you were saving that for. I was like, no, that just happened. Like it was like an it was like it was truly an outer body
Yeah.
experience for me, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like I felt like I was watching myself,
Yeah.
and they were like, oh my god, like so it was like I've had a few of those moments where it's like my scene partner's like, stop being so genuine or whatever. And I'm just like, I can't help it. So
Like,
I think that's been great though, because it's helped to help like in a healthy way challenge people, and
Mhm.
help them like go a little bit deeper
right.
than they want to maybe go. So yeah.
I love that. Love that. Thank you for
Me
sharing that
too.
with us as
Thank you.
well. So
Yeah,
what's
of course. Yeah,
what's
yeah.
been what's been some of your besides that one? What's been some of your favorite projects that you've been a part of? Because I want to hear about this now. Like, yeah, what's been some of your favorites? Your personal favorites?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely still top favorite for sure. I That was just a beautiful moment I'll never forget. It was definitely just the moment I felt like, wow, I'm an actor. Like, I think that was
Yes.
the first time I was like, I can do this. And I
Yes.
also felt like if people too coming up to you afterwards who are like, wow, I really felt like you were that mom and you impacted me. You know, that's what I always
Mhm.
want to do. Like I want to impact
Yeah.
people. Like I want to take roles specifically, you know, like Chadwick Boseman, for instance, like God rest his beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he was always inspiration to, actually, it's funny, his nephew is a good friend of mine, and we went to college together. We met in college. And I think he was always an inspiration because he was very careful about the roles he chose. And I'm the same way. I do not like I've gotten called in for so many different things for Tyler Perry and amongst other things, P Valley. They were like chasing me down to try to be in season two. And
Mm,
I was like, no, because it wasn't like aligning with, you know, my values. It wasn't aligning fully with the actor that I want to be. You know, like if I'm going to have
yeah.
a big breakout role, I want it to be sustainable. I want people to be like, no, you know, she's not just pretty, she's not just this, she's not just that. It's like
Mhm.
she is an actor and she's impactful, and she really brought that character to life in a way that helped me or changed me or make me to think, you know, about life or something. Like that's what I care about.
Hmm.
So having that experience was wonderful for me. I've also, had other great experiences on a variety of shows that were super fun, like my first couple little day players and things on TV
Mm.
shows, even if it was like Pregnant Woman #1, it was, with the first couple little lines. I just take in the moment, man. It's just something that I like to do, and I'm just honored for anything that I get. So, um, besides that, there's been so many beautiful things over the past decade or almost 2 decades now. But I think that one really takes the cake. I also played in the Colored Museum too, which was
Mm.
a beautiful show.
Mhm.
Super funny, super crass. But I played 4 characters in it, and
Okay.
Lala was one of them. And she was the singer. She was very avant-garde and also kind of bipolar. I
Ooh.
don't know if you guys are familiar with the show, but you guys should definitely read it or watch it if you can. Um, a great Black playwright from back in the day, and it's a show that kind of pokes fun at certain things and makes things pretty deep things like slavery and like the color
Mm.
purple and stuff like that.
Okay.
It brings it to life. Yeah, it's crazy though, and he takes those things and he makes it awkwardly, like uncomfortably funny. Like in the very
Mm.
beginning of the show, we were in a slave boat and we have shackles on, literally. But it's like you have a woman who's standing up there like a flight attendant who's like, "Welcome to the slave ship." Like everyone put their shackles on, tighten them just like so. Like literally, that is the beginning of the show, and you're like, "What in the world?" And everybody was coming to see the show. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like people were looking around who were not us, like, can we laugh at this? Or are they laughing? Are
You're like,
they? Do they think
is
this is
this a setup?
yeah, they're like looking for approval, like, okay. It's a crazy show, but it's very awesome and deep at the same time. Like Lala was the epitome of like Etta James, and all of the beautiful greats. Dorothy Dandridge, who had to go overseas to be noticed in any type of way, and
Mhm.
then they would come back to America, and it would kind of be like, oh, we're still dealing with racism, we're still dealing
Mm.
with having to take the back entrance into the venue. But
Mhm.
in Europe, they were treated like queens. People
Mhm.
like loved them, and they were treated a lot better. So that was her. That was the character. And she came back and she had this like fake French accent kind of thing, and would go in and out of like the fake French accent and her like Southern, blackness, and just have these bipolar moments though, and
Yeah.
and she kind of has a breakdown in song at the end of the scene. So that was
Yes.
one of my favorite roles too to play, definitely.
That is hilarious.
Oh man.
You
Now,
guys should see it. You for sure should read it, and for sure, if you ever like have it in your town or city, like you should definitely go see it because it's a hoot, but it's amazing.
Most
Yes,
definitely.
that's awesome.
Most definitely.
So
Yeah.
you can do this French accent real quick.
No, no, and I barely could
Let's
do
see.
it then. It was like it was just like it was yeah. Let me practice more on that. But even just getting ready for that, I was like, this is hard because it's just like I don't know. French is like it almost sounds like a song. Like it's like their language is almost like a song, and it's very just fluid, and it rolls off the tongue. That's just not natural, obviously, for an American to learn. So
Yes.
yeah,
I took
definitely a
French in high
challenge.
school. I love
Yeah,
French.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful
It is.
language.
It is.
I
It's
really
said
I
to be
like
one
it.
of the most romantic languages alongside of Italian.
I was gonna say, yeah, Italian's
Yeah.
nice too. Yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
now,
But that was a good role.
one last question before we get you out of here. let's share with our audience, because this platform, we provide the platform for those aspiring in the business of acting. Just what's one piece of advice along your journey in this crazy business that's helped you that you can give to someone?
Yeah. Honestly, you have to be who you are and, stand up for what you believe is right for your career. I think that's definitely been something, I mean, now that I easily do, but it took a little bit to get there. Like I said, I've always been pretty good about saying no to things that I didn't want to do, which, has been a blessing and I think a good protection for me. But also too, I've had agents, who kind of didn't understand that. They'd be like, well, you're getting, they're chasing you down for XYZ. And it's just like, yeah, but I don't want to be a stripper. I don't want that to be my first role. I don't want anything that my parents can't watch for the first time of me on TV and film to be out there, Like if I have to be like, maybe you guys should just not watch this season of this show that I'm on, even though I'm in the whole season. Like, maybe you should just skip this show and the next one, the next one. But yeah, it's important to understand what you want to do and why, and having those boundaries, like that agent ended up dropping me eventually because, I kept saying no to things I told her I wasn't comfortable with in the beginning. When I first signed my contract. That's why they give you a form to tell you what are you like going to do and what are you not willing to do. But some people will not respect that because they're chasing after a paycheck and they're not thinking about like the long run of we want to have a long career and we both want to be in this industry for the right reasons. So making sure you have your boundaries, you have your non-negotiables, and you stick to them. And you're not afraid to stand up for yourself. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. It may sometimes feel like you're taking the long road around, because there is going to be someone who does say yes to that role, and maybe it'll lead them to getting a couple other roles down the line too. And you're like, dang, now they're getting this and that. But it's like it's your journey's your journey, and it's going to take as long as it's going to take. And I think we've seen so many beautiful examples of that in this award season, which was by far my favorite award season because there were so many more people of color winning and getting nominated for things finally. But it took so long. Like, all of their speeches, a lot of them were like, it took 15 years, it took 20 years, it took half my life to get to this point. And sometimes it's going to be that way. And I think it's going to be that way a lot more so for people who say no and have the courage to do so than it is going to be for the people who say yes.
Yeah.
That's a full word right there. I love that.
Yeah.
Amen and amen again.
Amen.
Ashley, tell us where we can follow you at. And also, before that, quick shout out to Visionary Women's Productions as well.
Yeah.
And your podcast as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, quick shout out. But yes, tell everyone where we can follow you at.
Yeah, so you can follow me at Ashley Lauren Official on Instagram, and right in my bio, you'll see our company Instagram too, Visionary Woman Productions. We do film, TV, and branded content, and excited for this upcoming year of work that's ahead. So stay tuned for all of that, and I'm super excited, producing some films. Stay tuned. But yeah, Instagram and then TikTok, if you're a TikTok person, AshleyLauren.official.
Nice. Ladies,
y'all follow Miss Ashley.
Yeah, I'm following. There you have it, ladies.
Yeah, follow, connect.
All that. She is truly amazing. Thank you again for your time on the show. We greatly appreciate it. We'll be in contact as well too, especially when we come up to New York because I miss New York. I've been there once and I want to come back.
Yes.
Yes, I should be back to New York in September actually.
Keep me posted. I don't know if I've been trying to move, to be honest, for the past year.
Right.
I was trying to move to California, but then the strike hit and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
everything keeps happening and prolonging the move. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So if I'm still here, yes, or if in California, if I'm there, same offer. Come on
Yes,
by.
yes.
Yep. In LA.
Well, we're wishing you like all the success on your endeavors and everything. You're a beautiful
You as
woman,
well.
beautiful Black woman. So we have to give you your flowers. It's Black History Month, and we are sharing the light.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
everyone. Yes, yes. Awesome. Thank you for having me.